Hi everyone, I'm Huub Hildenbrand. Thanks for tuning into my channel, Huub Hildenbrand Guitar Academia. Today we have lesson 2 of tonal harmony, and we will take what we learned in lesson 1, like the combinations of the notes E and B, into practice. So let's get right into the endless ocean of music. Alright, so please download the PDF file. Down in the description you find the link. If you didn't do already, we have the same PDF file than lesson 1 of tonal harmony. Today we take these two notes E and B into practice, and it's maybe a bit a strange lesson, because E and B are just two notes. It's just an interval. So like maybe in a theory book we would just go on to adding the next note and then the next, and then we can build chords, and then we have harmony like functions and so on. But we go very slowly here, and there's also another reason. Of course, we want to really go into depth with it, that you really understand this, and you especially today, I think these gravitational forces in these intervals EB like perfect fifth or BE perfect fourth, I think they will become very obvious and clear. So we want to play all these different diads and 3-note voicings, also to have a chance that our ear has a chance to get really deep into it, and so we can more easily and logically we can build up by adding more notes. But there's another reason why I want to have one lesson with just these two notes. The thing is, in Western harmony and also in jazz and like in all these European like classical, baroque, romantic period, you basically the main building block, the main structure are major and minor triads. These triads, they really, if you play a major or minor triad, they always suggest, oh, okay, it's Western music. It's this kind of an atmosphere. It's this kind of a style. Is a certain atmosphere is created, and this is definitely not the atmosphere what is created in all these other cultures around the globe. I very often, I played with a lot of musicians from like Turkey and Greece, and I played a lot of also like folk music from other cultures and classical music also. But when you have to accompany like people, when you have a violinist or a saxophonist, and they are playing a melody, and you should play chords, and especially for music which is not really based or not really thought of chords, there is no really a chordal theory under it. Very often, if you play major and minor chords, you will just destroy the whole thing. You will just destroy the whole atmosphere and the purity and the certain kind of emptiness also of the sounds. You just, in a way, you just put like just a bottle of honey over the whole thing, you can say. It's not staying and not that pure anymore. It's like, yeah, it's nice, it's beautiful, but very often when you just add these major and minor chords to this kind of folk music from India, or from classical music, or from Turkey, Turkish folk music tunes, songs, you will just ruin the whole thing, for my ears. Of course, if you really is like Western European classical music is what you always did, you are so used to that. But I talked with a lot of musicians from other cultures, and they really also agreed with this, and they also said, yeah, it sounds nice to have this major or minor chord there, but in a way you lose something by adding this major or minor third to the perfect fifth. So a perfect fifth, this interval like is very frequently heard, or a perfect fourth is very frequently heard in Indian classical music, Turkish classical music, for example, African music, of course, but it's also heard harmonically. Like, for example, in Indian music, you have this tambura, and this instrument gives you mostly the sa, the root, the tonic, and the fifth, the pa. So this is always there. So the perfect fifth is sounding all the time. And also you have a lot of occasions where, like in Turkish music, also in taksim, improvisation, makam music, you use perfect fifths, and yeah. So I want to stick just with these two notes, and later on these kind of diets and three-note structures we find here, they will be also like a starting point, or also like a resting point for later melodic or harmonic invention. So these sounds, they will be used later. And so what I did actually for this lesson, I gave you all the possible two-note and three-note structures, how to play these two notes on the guitar, on the fretboard. So we will go through them, and we will just listen to them, how they sound like, and maybe I tell you a bit more about certain voicings. So let's start. I have them here, the PDF file printed out in front of me. So I hope you did it too. Otherwise, do it now. We start with the first diet. The first diet is a perfect fifth from E. It's the lowest possible diet with these two notes, E and B, on the guitar. And you really clearly hear always, you will always in all these diets, you will hear E as a root. Then the next diet would be E and B. B here, octave higher. And when I hear these sounds, I really get inspired to have like a melodic invention, to move with one note higher or lower, and to have some melody happen. And so these structures, they want to proceed, they want to go somewhere, they want to move. I mean, they're just static sounds, and music is always flowing, so it has to go somewhere. But so what we are just doing, we just take certain moments where in the music later we just take out the moments where we just have these two tones, because when you later have more invention, more connection with other sounds, these you don't get bored with this with these diets here. They're really the resting sound, you can say. Okay, then you can play the B up higher. So E B or E B here. Next would would be EB, E up an octave, so there's a certain pattern. I think you will recognize this. EB or EB or EB. Next would be the E again, higher, like here. So you can play like EB, open E string, or you can play it here. That's the next voicing. You really hear all these small intonation problems also of the guitar or of our tonal system actually. If you just play these perfect intervals, your ear hears it. If you add more notes and if you go just quick through the chords, it's not really detecting these impurities, you can say. But I mean, I really have to tune maybe also my D string higher, that I. Okay, the next would be E in the bass, B in the bass, sorry, B. So we have the perfect fourth here. And we still hear the E as a tonic, as a central note. Or we can have this chord. And we have this chord. Here something very interesting happens actually, because this chord, it's very interesting. This chord has, this interval is a very large interval, you can say. So this note here has a lot of free space. Free space, you can say, where it can really it can, in a way, it can freely have its own harmonic series happening. So there are no disturbing notes in between. And the harmonic series of B is B octave, B, F sharp, B again, and then the fifth harmonic, D sharp. So if I have the harmonic series from B, I actually have a B major triad. This will come later as our dominant for E minor. So it's already implied in these two notes we are doing here. And the thing is, because this B has so much space, that the so much space here, like it's such a wide interval, that it really gets a bit more of a power, that we could hear this E here not as tonic, but as a kind of suspension, what's also coming later. So you do not really have to understand it. But listen to it. If I go back, if I go now from E to D sharp, this is also something. So I have my E here is a bit weaker as a tonal center, as a point of gravity, you can say. So it gets a bit weaker, and because of that, it's giving a bit away some power, some force to the B. That the B suddenly becomes more the dominant ruler here, and is really the B wants to have the power of the home base, the tonal center. So this is something what is happening here. It's always something what is happening if you have a lot of space in a certain kind of an chord or especially in an interval, that the lower note which has this space above it will have its harmonic series. This harmonic series of that note will come into play. So there is some shift of powers of force happening here. But still, actually, if I hear this, because this is maybe also like a very traditional progression, I hear, okay, the E can go to the D sharp, but then still I hear then the resolution is E. So in a way you have a kind of an essence here. You have an essence of like a dominant sus4, a dominant, and octave, root, home base. But of course you also can still hear the high E as a tonic. Point of gravitation. Okay, so I can also have a higher, octave higher, the B. So, perfect fourth. Or even higher the E. Or I can play my B even higher here and play my E here or here. So these are my diets. All possible diets I can play. I can construct with these two notes. Another thing you can do is to play all these diets. I mean, this diet, and this is of course possible for every diet, for every two-note structure, for every interval. You can play it melodically. And I found a nice pattern here. And this goes like that. I play my first two notes on the two low strings. I have E, B here, 6th and 5th string. And then I play the same fingering here on the middle two strings, so E, B, and then on the upper high two strings I play E, B again. Because the guitar has always this force between the low strings, between the middle strings and the high two strings. It's always actually the same thing, just shifted up 2 or 3 frets and up 2 strings. So the pattern goes like this. First slow. Now if I play it faster. Next, if I invert the B and the E, I play B, E, B, E, B, E, and then back. Yeah. Watch my fingering. Written down the PDF if it's too quick for you. So it's just sorry. And then I play the same what I played in the low octave. I can play in the higher octave. So E, B, E, B, E, B. is a cool pattern, and it's really great for coordination and for like always playing a new string with the right hand. So this is really like also a good technique, study for technique. And you have a very good example of these diets shifting through a chord progression actually in the advanced lesson 2. So I0013. In this lesson, always these advanced lessons, they are marked in red and intermediate in blue and beginners in yellow, if you didn't notice yet. There you find in A2 you find a nice example how it sounds if you really play these diets and adjusting them, going through a real chord progression. Okay. Last we will see these 3-note or 3-part structures, just with E and B. So you have I wrote down all the possibilities of it, and sometimes also you have like just 3 times E or 3 times B. So it's just all possibilities what you can do with E if you have just E and B to build like any 3-note voicing. And just go through the whole page for yourself and listen for the sounds, and listen how the E is always the tonal center, has the gravitational attraction, you can say. So the B wants to resolve. And do that and tell me in the comments what you learned from it. Maybe you find interesting sounds, I'm not sure. But maybe your ear also opened up for different concept. It's really great to stick with one idea and really find all the possibilities, and then like systematically you go through all the possibilities, and you just make small small how do you say like explorations. You find something, or you say, oh, I don't need it, I don't need that, this I don't like, but this, wow. I normally would not just find this kind of a chord, this kind of voicing, and okay, I hear now that the E is really sounding as home bass. So I think you will learn something, especially when it's such simple structures. Your ear has is definitely not overwhelmed by all these notes. It has a nice it can have a nice fearless mode, you can say. Okay, I hope you like this lesson, and please, if so, please subscribe to my channel. And also on my website, guitar-academia.com, there is a button where you can donate to support my work here on this channel, that we go on with more and more topics which we have to cover, definitely. Okay, thanks for watching. My name is Huub Hildenbrand.